Welcome to Lions Television. I'm your host, Nick Kurti, and today I'm joined by TCNJ's women's basketball team for the 2025-26 season. First off, I just want to say thank you all for showing up. It's great to see you guys after this great season. Just want to talk to you guys about a couple things. But first off, you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm head coach Chessie Jackson. I just finished my 9th season with our program. Super proud of this group this year.
I'm Grace Kowalski. I'm a junior from Montville, New Jersey.
I'm Amanda Baylock. I'm from Scotch Plains. I'm a sophomore.
All right, thank you guys. So first off, Coach Jackson, it's your 9th year coaching women's basketball here. At TCNJ, you lost 2 seniors and 2 grad students at your program, and in came 4 freshmen. So how did you approach the new roster and the start of the incoming season?
Yeah, good question. I think a lot of it was over the summer, kind of figuring out what our new strengths were going to be. Like you said, we lost a lot. In particular, one of our outgoing seniors last year was our starting point guard for 4 years. And in our game, that's a big position and a big leadership role to lose. So I knew that we were going to have sort of a transitional period with our group. We're young. 8 of our roster being underclassmen, and so I knew that the start of the season was going to be a little bit rocky, but really it was a matter of figuring out whether our system that we've run in the past was going to be best for this group, and it wasn't. So we had to kind of revamp what we were doing and think through a different offensive system, which took some time to adjust to, but once we kind of found that rhythm, I think it really helped us down the stretch. So like I said, I think I knew it was going to be a little bit of an uphill climb, but this team really overcame a lot at the start of the season to get to this place.
You do mention a really good point that I was going to bring up in my next question, because you said that a lot of the workflow you had from last year with your graduating players sort of didn't work out. I'm assuming that ties into the way your season began 0-6. You had a really high strength of schedule. I mean, to be fair, you had Trinity, Connecticut, Chris Newport, both ranked at the start of the season. But then you guys completely switched up energy. You had beaten Stockton by 26, and then you beat Kane by 46. So tell me how you sort of adapt your energy from there to bouncing back straight into the NJAC.
Yeah. These guys can speak to it as well. I think a lot of it is, like I said, finding that rhythm. I think Amanda is a great example. Like, Amanda played 10 minutes a game last year, and she was starting at the beginning of the season, and against some of those ranked opponents early on, she was leading our scoring. And so I think when you have limited experience, in-game experience as a freshman, it's going to be hard to perform, consistently. And I think we had people stepping up for us at the start of the season that really got us, found our flow that way. In terms of sort of that transition into NJAC play, I think our league is strong most years, especially the top of the league, but we're super experienced at being really successful in our league. Our team knows every NJAC team like the back of their hands, right? And so I think once we got into NJAC, you had a lot more confidence. And we performed well against some of those ranked opponents early on, and if you can perform really well against number 11 in the country, right, then your mindset going into NJAC play, I think, is one of confidence. And so I think that's what, I won't speak for you guys, but I think that's what we had going into it.
Yeah, I think the rhythm thing was really huge for us. I feel like we started, we all talked everything out, and I feel like we started playing more together once NJAC started, and we kind of started playing not to lose. For those 6 games, we kind of got used to we were going to lose. It was going to.
You sort of went into it expecting the loss.
It was. We played tough teams, and after we lose 4 in a row, then the next game's a little tough. But once we got our first win, we were like, this is how it's supposed to be.
I think also our mindset kind of changed going into those next few games, especially after Willie P. Going in that game, we thought we could easily beat them, and then obviously we came out the loss. But I think after that happened, we knew that going at each conference game moving forward, we can't take that game for advantage. So we had to go in confidently and know that we're going to win every single time we play together, play within our system.
Thank you. That really went, again, straight back into a different question I had next. The NJAC is pretty well regarded as one of the toughest conferences in the country by most people. How do you, not only get that start, but then you kept rolling? You guys went 14-4 in the conference. How do you tackle that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think experience helps. I think once we got those first non-conference games under our belt, I think that helped our team. And I think in our upper class group, we have a lot of NJAC wins in our upperclassmen group. Grace being a good example of that. And I think when we started NJAC play, I think it would have been really easy for another team to kind of roll over and be like, well, we're 0-6, like I guess this just isn't going to be a good season. But we had enough seniors and juniors on our team who were like, no, this is NJAC play, this is how we show up every year for NJAC play. And once, I think these guys just said it, once we picked up a couple wins, we were like, oh yeah, that's how you play basketball, right? I think it's fun. Like these guys know the names of every single NJAC player, right? And so I think there's a level of competitiveness that goes into conference play that maybe at the start of the season doesn't exist with our non-conference, but that was a big learning curve for us at the beginning that I think we will bring with us into next year. It's like, if we're talking about at-large bids at the end of the year, right, you have to take those non-conference games just as seriously, and I think that was a good experience for us to go through this year.
We knew that if we didn't do well in the beginning, that when it comes to conference, that it really doesn't matter the first time you play, and it really matters the second time and towards playoffs, because whoever's team shows up during playoffs is who's going to win that NJAC. So that's what we did. We ended up peaking at the right moment, and it just ended up leading us to that NJAC championship.
Yeah, I just think it comes back to us playing all together. I feel like like you said, we peaked at the right time, and I think we found our groove. I would say second half of NJACs, and I think we just went from there. Second half of NJACs, and I think we just went from there.
Right, exactly. Now, you guys did mention this a couple of times in between, but out of your whole schedule, there's only one team that you lost to twice, William Patterson. Then you have to drive up to Wayne. You already got the win versus Rutgers under your belt in the semis, but how are you approaching William Patterson, nationally ranked William Patterson away day with the D3 tournament bid on the line?
What I'll say is the last few years we've been the 1 seed and hosting for the championship game. And we've lost both of those games the last 2 years. And so I was actually thrilled to be going to their place. In my mind, our staff got together in sort of the lead up to that game and in preparing for it. And we were like, listen, my thought process the last couple of years is trust all the work that you've done throughout the season to get you to this championship. You don't need to do anything special or different, right? But that's gotten us 2 losses in a row. And so this year I changed my mindset completely, and our staff kind of was like, let's sell this as let's do something totally different, right? Let's do something that's gonna sort of shock our team a little bit, right? Shock our opponent a little bit. And so that's what we did. And it felt like a very high risk, high reward thing to do, but we went for it, and our team totally bought into what our game plan was. And I think that's a sign of our leadership and maturity that they were able to kind of in that moment be like, oh, okay, this is totally different than what we've been doing all year. Let's just do it, because she's saying that it's gonna work. So I don't know if you guys want to speak more to that.
Yeah, I just think going in, I feel like the preparation was great. I feel like as soon as we heard about the game plan in practice, I feel like we all bought into it, and we went into the locker room that day after practice and we're like, oh, we have it. We have the win. Great game plan. The confidence that walked out of the locker room that day after practice was insane. So, and I think just the preparation on the bus, I think we all, I think so you thought so too, but I think we all just knew that it was going to be our day.
I think also with us going 0-2, obviously losing by double digits both times, we knew that going up to their place, we wanted this badly. We did not want to go 0-3 against them, and neither did we want to go 0-3 in the championship 3 years in a row. So we knew that going into this, we were fully prepared this year, buy into the game plan, and we knew we were going to come out with that win.
You did mention something that I was just about to ask, or just about to exemplify, because in 2025, you get second, and then in 2024, you get second. And now, not only are you in the tournament, you get the bid, but you get the 23-point upset over the nationally ranked competition, and now you're in the NCAA tournament for the first time for your players and the first time for you since your first year here in 2018. How does that feel for all of you?
Felt good. Really good. I mean, that's what you work towards, right? That's what I've been working towards since that first year. And there's nothing like, at this level, there's nothing like going to the NCAA tournament. There's nothing like those experiences for our athletes. And I think it really took this year of winning, going to the first round, having that experience of driving to Ohio, and playing a really good nationally ranked team in the first round, to kind of be a little bit of an intro of what's ahead. You know, I think that now that we've experienced it, they want it even more than they did before. You know, that has been something that I think has been a little bit of a cloud over our program, is that I think that our athletes have been a little too focused on the NJAC championship as opposed to the NCAA tournament. And now that we've experienced it, I think that they're really focused on that tournament experience, and I think it will really serve us in the next couple of years.
I just think like the whole experience was just a lot of fun. I mean, that like we're gonna get back there, but that like just to like say that you did it once, I feel like that's very cool, and that's what everyone's goal is. And I feel like that's like the selection show, everything about it was just a great experience.
I think also going into this year, at the beginning of the year, we always have our BM season meeting, and we always talk about what is our end goal for the season, what are we looking to go towards. And the past 2 years we always said that NJAC championship, but this year we changed our mindset. We said let's get to play in the NCAA tournament, and so that's just the whole mindset of it going into the season was a lot different, and allowed us to experience what it means to play in the NCAA tournament in that atmosphere out in Ohio. It's different than what the NJAC championship is like, because you're out in a bigger stage in front of a lot of people.
Right, absolutely. Now just some player focused stuff. First off, Amanda, you're a sophomore, and already it's just your second year, and like you brought up earlier, she's averaging 10 minutes a game like the season before, and now #1 on points for the team this season, #1 on threes. You're averaging 13.9 points per game. How do you stay on the court and you lead the team statistically through this season?
I think it was just like the confidence thing. I feel like we had a lot of meetings in the beginning of the year, and I think like your confidence in me, I think put the confidence in myself, and I think I kind of just took that every day. And everyone around me, like everyone let me play the way I wanted to play, and I think that like I just feed off that, and it was good. And then like the leadership thing, beginning of the year is not really there, but I mean, I was a sophomore, so just trying to get each game and every day in practice, like the leadership role, trying to get bigger and bigger, and I think that also led to the more confidence.
Now, Grace, as a junior, you've been a major contributor to this team, and you've had a lot of big shoes to fill in terms of upperclassmen that have left. Now you're the upperclassman, and you had a serious injury that you got surgery for. You have to rehabilitate yourself and sort of get back up to the level you were at before. How does it feel not only leading the team as an upperclassman, but also playing through that as well?
I mean, it feels amazing what we accomplished, but I know in the beginning of the season, I wasn't going to come in at my best or where I was from last season, so I know, obviously, Amanda coming in the first few games, scoring a lot of points, I knew that if I'm not scoring at my best then I got to find her so she can produce what she's been producing and just lead my team and doing the little things on the court. So I know going into next year, obviously we're losing our 3 seniors, but I know I got to use my leadership to help this underclassmen and the freshmen coming in, just to know that like coming into this program, what our culture is like and what we all want to play for, which is going to the NCAA tournament again.
Coach Jackson, you've had just like undoubtedly a crazy season to lead. From like your non-conference record to that automatic NCAA bid, from what you've seen with this season, basically like just like the complete definition of like anything is possible, you know? How are you approaching this group that won a conference championship, that went to the NCAA tournament? How are you approaching them for next season?
We gained a lot of experience this year that we needed. Like we've all talked about, like this was a young team, inexperienced team for the most part, and I think the experience of being inconsistent, of losing a lot of games at the start, overcoming that, like that's a great experience to have in their careers, you know. And we weren't totally sure how Grace's knee was gonna hold up over the season. There were some stretches at the beginning of the season where we really thought like she may be out for a big chunk of this year. And so I think, being able to manage that, being able to overcome that, that's one example of so many that I can think of, sort of obstacles that we faced this year. And all of those, I think, in team sports really help you build, momentum, build consistency. And I think, and my approach is that, next year, all of that will really help us to create a much more consistent record, certainly, but also just experience overall. We have a really great group of incoming freshmen next year who are super talented and I think like ready to play college basketball. We have a lot of good leadership who have a lot of experience, which I think, to start this year, we were a little shaky on that. We were sort of waiting to see who was going to step into that leadership role. So I know that they're really eager and excited. I think everybody wishes we could kind of snap our fingers and be at the start of next season. But I think it's also a great opportunity to train and build and I think we can ride this wave a little bit with this group. So, yeah.
Right, awesome. One last thing. Do each of you have a favorite memory you want to share about this season?
So I'm gonna take the obvious one. I think like
I was waiting for someone.
Yeah.
You're all looking at each other waiting for so who's gonna pick it?
I'll let one of you pick the obvious.
So I just think just that whole game. I think the energy was fantastic. When we won, dog pile, and then just cutting down the net, like getting the trophy. I think it's everything that we worked so hard towards this whole year, and like it finally paid off, and it was great.
I would say my best memory was going up to Smith, coming back from the new year, going into that different team, new mindset, and just going up to have experience, play against the runner-up 2 years in a row. Smith at that time was ranked number 4, so going into that game, we knew that it was going to be a very great game against them. We had a chance to beat a nationally ranked opponent as well. And I think we put our best play forward, but obviously it came out with a loss, but I just enjoyed playing against them. Very competitive team.
And Coach?
That was one of my favorites too. Amanda talked about this earlier a little bit, but I think in sort of the lead up to our championship game, just those practices and like the game prep for the championship game was really fun. It was fun to watch our team get excited about the game plan and really buy into it. And it gave me as a coach a lot of confidence that like they could do it. And so I think once that game came around, like I think we walked into that gym and like none of us had a doubt in our minds because I think we knew that we were going to surprise Willie P with what we were doing. And so those couple of days in the lead up to the championship were really fun.
All right. Well, that's everything I've got for this interview. I just want to say thank you again, women's basketball, for showing up. And I will see the rest of you next time.